Hello, sisters and brothers working in justice, peace, and integrity of creation. Today we are going to begin a new series, a video series, and this is entitled Reflections on the Capuchin JPIC Handbook. This is intended so that we can sort of take out the handbooks from the bookshelves of our convents and libraries, to take them out so that we will be able to present it to the rest of the world. Now, the purpose of being a JPIC animator, part of it is to sharing the richness of our experience as we work in JPIC. And the JPIC Handbook is one of those books that contains the richness of our experience, working in the field. So, to be able to bring it more closer to the people, especially those who are still studying in the initial formation, especially for us Capuchins. But this handbook is not just for Capuchins, but for everyone who is interested in working for uplifting those who are excluded from the society and also working for the environment. So this handbook is intended for everyone. However, for us Capuchins, it is good for us to be able to give the experiences that we have through the reflections on this handbook to our brothers in initial formation. As we know right now, the thrust of the new Ratio Formationis of our order is to integrate the JPIC experiences into all levels of initial formation. So this is our thrust right now, and I encourage you. This is a series of videos presented in English. I encourage those who are in the different conferences, that speak in Portuguese, in Spanish, in French, and in Italian. I encourage you to create similar videos just as this one. It can be presented by one person or several persons who are working in JPIC. All we need to do is for every aspects and every page of the handbook, we would dedicate a short video reflection on these topics, and as we go through them, we are able to share the richness of our experience. So I invite everybody in the different circumscription, if we can come up with videos in Portuguese, videos in Spanish, videos in French, and in Italian, where we will be able to show reflections of the JPIC handbook. It would be a wonderful thing for the rest of the order and for the rest of the world. So I invite you now. This is just a short introduction. After this will be the first video on the JPIC handbook, which will be the reflection on the foreword. After that, there will be a series of other videos that will follow, and we will be going through the JPIC handbook one by one. So I hope you will be able to benefit from this video series, and I invite you, please come up with other reflections on the different languages that are present in our order. Well, hope to see you now in the first video of our video series entitled Reflections on the JPIC Handbook. Hello, brothers and sisters who are working as animators of JPIC worldwide. Welcome to our video series, Reflections on the Capuchin JPIC Handbook. Note that the JPIC Handbook is not only for Capuchins, but also for any person who would like to live the spirituality of solidarity with the excluded, creation, other faiths, and ways of thinking. I do not know if you already came about this handbook. It should be available in our Capuchin convents. Maybe they are there gathering dusks like the other books we have in our fraternity library. That is the reason the JPIC office decided to create a series of videos regarding the JPIC handbook. This video series is designed to get those JPIC handbooks out of our shelves and into your hands, and hopefully, after you read it, its message will remain in our hearts and help us to live our Capuchin charism of universal brotherhood in the spirit of the encyclicals of Pope Francis, Laudato Si, and Fratelli Tutti. Come, let us have a short run-through of the cover of this handbook. You see here, there's this child trying to get as much water from the water faucet. No, there are still parts in the world who still are in need of good water, healthy, clean water. And here is a brother who noted fasting from meat, no? And at the same time, here is a hand holding a seedling about to be planted, no? So this is the front cover, and here we can see Order of Friars Minor Capuchins, Justice, Peace, and Integrity of Creation Handbook. Now, what you are seeing now is the English version. The other JPIC handbooks have their own design, no? So this is the design of the English handbook. Later we will see who prepared it. No? At the back cover, we see here, it says here, JPIC for Capuchins is a way of life and mission. Okay, it is part of our DNA as Franciscans. So it is within us. If you are a Franciscan, it is part of you. Okay, all Capuchin friars, whatever is their age or ministry, are called to integrate the values of JPIC in a balanced way throughout the course of their lives. It is true, because actually JPIC is actually just the living out of our Capuchin charism. No? And then they have here JPIC OFM Cap, no, with the bird, symbolizing peace and the Holy Spirit. And then there's here a tree with the word ecology as its branches. And then there's this word peace, justice. So justice, peace, ecology. Okay. And then there's this Tau Cruz, a symbolism of our Franciscan way of life. And then when we look at the second page, now we have here three divisions: justice, peace, ecology, the same ones. But here we have St. Francis now opening his arms to the sunrise. It says here, action on behalf of justice and participation in the transformation of the world fully appear to us as a constitutive dimension of the preaching of the gospel. This is an excerpt from the World Synod of Bishops in 1971. Okay, here we see for peace, St. Francis embracing the Sultan, and the Sultan embracing St. Francis. No? Lord, make me an instrument of your peace, St. Francis. Okay. Here again we see St. Francis in the midst of creation, no? And in contemplation. Actually, when you look at creation, creation is the temple of the Lord. During the olden times, in the Old Testament, no, people didn't have temples. Their temple is nature. So people would climb mountains, they would go to the peripheries, no, and then they give reverence, no. They walk gently in the land because they know that the land is sacred. Now I wonder if we still walk gently in the land. Now this is the challenge, no? And the JPIC has to remind people the land is sacred. We need to care for it. We need to walk gently through the land. Anyway, it says here, Christians need to realize that their responsibility within creation and their duty towards nature and the Creator are an essential part of their faith. This is a message by Pope Francis in his encyclical Laudato Si. Now, here on page 2, we have JPIC as a way of life and mission for the Capuchins. No? So it is a from the General Office of JPIC, OFM Cap, Rome. Okay. Now, just to reflect a little bit, no, JPIC as a way of life and a mission for the Capuchins. No, actually, I feel that JPIC is actually, as I've said earlier, a living out of our Capuchin charism, especially in the area of universal brotherhood. No, the JPIC office, according to the Plenary Council of the Capuchin Order number 7, or the 7th CPO, no, is the voice of the poor in the order. So the office is designed to remind the brothers and also to express to the brothers the voice or the needs of those who are poor and excluded from the society. So as you can see, JPI animators who are working in the field, they usually send information to the JPIC office. As they send their requests for assistance, the JPIC office reminds or helps them, assists them, so that the brothers throughout the world will become aware of the situation of other people in the other parts of the world. At the same time, also, the brothers in the peripheries tell the office, and the office, together with the brothers, would inform the general courier of the situation that is happening in the field, especially with regards to those who are excluded in the society and also creation. No? And then at the same time, no, to embrace the excluded of our society and the environment is a very clear expression of the charism of our Capuchin charism of universal brotherhood. Now, to work with JPIC, or to live out JPIC, is also to live out our charism. Living out our charism is a journey. If the majority of the Capuchins have reached that point of living out our charism with zeal and joy, I feel that will be also the time for the JPIC office to cease to exist. So it means the reason why we still continue to work. Sometimes I would joke with the brothers, and the brothers are always saying, "Oh, we still have a lot of problems in the world. What is the JPIC office doing?" Then I will tell them, that is the reason we are still here. No, we still need to be that voice for the poor, so that the brothers will continue on working. No, especially those. What happens is that it's like becoming an intermediary. If one circumscription have difficulty, we get to inform also the other circumscriptions, and then we are able to practice our solidarity with each other and solidarity with those who are in need. So the communication is facilitated, and we are able to make a bigger difference in the world. But there's still a lot of work to be done. No? Now, let us go to the next page. No? And what we see here in the next page, here we can see who prepared the English version. No? There are also those who prepared the other versions. We have the versions also in French, in Portuguese, in Spanish, and in Italian. Now, for those who prepared this one, no, Order of Friars Minor, the handbook, this is the first edition, which was published during 2017 by the General Office of JPIC in Rome. And then, so it was also published by the General Courier. No? Now, those who prepared this one are Brother Benedict Coyote, which was the director of the JPIC office at that time, and Brother John Chelichowski, OFM Cap, who is the representative of JPIC and also the president of the JPIC Commission at that time. He belongs to the NAPCC, which is the Americas, no, the region of the Americas, USA, Canada, including Australia. No? Okay. Editing and designs and layout was done by our brother Jacob Kani, OFM Cap, who is part of Chichi MSI, which is the Indian conference. No, okay. It was printed by Grafiche Grilli SRL, Italy. Okay. Here we can see brothers of our General Council. And then we have here Pope Francis, no? And Saint Francis with the bird, no? Okay. Now, the next one is the table of contents. No, we will not go to the details of the table of contents. We will now go to the topic of this video, no? Which is the foreword of the JPIC Handbook. No? There will be succeeding videos that will be we will be going little by little throughout the handbook. No? But for now, we will just concentrate on the foreword. As you can see from the foreword, now it is the foreword was done by our general minister during that time, during the time that the handbook was published, and it is Brother Mauro Yuri, or Brother Mauro Jori. I don't know how to pronounce it. Yuri or Jori. Anyway, uh, his reflection is very beautiful. It speaks about devout simplicity, and through this devout simplicity, we are able to live our JPIC spirituality. Now, I will read the foreword and okay, I'm back. Sorry, somebody knocked on the door. It happens. Okay, so let us continue. Okay, so for our topic now, as I've said earlier, it is written by our general minister during the time that the handbook was published, which is Brother Mauro Yuri. Okay, and the title of the foreword is A Devout Simplicity. Now I will read the message written by Brother Mauro, and then afterwards we'll have some short reflections, and then we will finish the video. Okay, so here it goes. In 2002, our brother Giovanni Pozzi published a contribution for the book The Capuchins in Emilia-Romagna, The History of a Presence, with the title Capuchin Identity and Its Symbols. Okay. This work has now been published on its own and bears the new title Devout Simplicity, in Italian, Devota Sobrietà. Reading the Handbook for Justice, Peace, and Integrity of Creation, or JPIC, by Brother Benedict Ayodi, Secretary of this office, and Brother Jan Szelichowski, President of the Commission for the same, the devout simplicity of the first Capuchins occurred to me right away. Their idea was to reduce as much as they could the use of the goods of this world, for they had oriented themselves decisively towards an imminent eschatological fulfillment. They were in the world with the attitude of pilgrims and strangers, aware that their homeland was elsewhere. As a consequence, they committed themselves to living a life marked by an extreme simplicity and contented with what was indispensable. An attentive reading of this handbook, dear brother, will surely lead you to the conclusion, though we begin from different considerations, that we are called to live the same devout simplicity. A simplicity that asks us to begin with a frugal and responsible use of the goods of creation, a simplicity that comes from a sense of solidarity with all living beings and with creation itself. In his encyclical Laudato Si, Pope Francis has brought to our attention the irreparable consequences of an uncontrolled exploitation of the resources of creation. A responsible approach to the goods of creation also depends on a deep commitment to peace and justice in the world. In order to eradicate extreme poverty and guarantee a good and adequate life for future generations, it is essential that we now take on an attitude of simplicity in the use of goods of our sister Mother Earth. This means a devout simplicity because it is aware that in all of this we will have to give an account to the Creator, to the giver of every good. This devout simplicity is enriched in our days by new motivation, and it is urgent for us to put it into practice, beginning with an attentive review of our own lifestyle. We must not fear to subject our use of the various consumers' goods at our disposal to an attentive examination. This extends from how we eat to how we use the various means of transportation and communication. Let us give our sincere thanks to those who have prepared this text. Though brief, their presentation invites us to make very concrete choices that touch our lives in many places. My hope is that no fraternity, nor any individual friar, dispense themselves from reading this handbook and putting into practice these suggestions that touch our life so closely. Let me repeat, I am pleased with the practical ways in which the authors address themselves to all of us. Now, it is the turn of each of us to ensure that these suggestions are translated into practices, marked by devout simplicity, in respect for creation and its creator, and in solidarity with all living things. I wish you happy reading and an even more fruitful application of what we read. Rome, March 1, 2017, Ash Wednesday. Oh, so it was done during Ash Wednesday. It reminds me, no? Usually during the Lenten season, the brothers would do some fasting and some acts of penance, no? And what we are able to save, we usually use it for the needs of those who are excluded in the society. No, very nice. No, so it was written. The foreword was written during Ash Wednesday. Brother Mauro Yuri, General Minister, OFM CAP. Okay, so this is our video for today. Now, let's go to a little reflection on what Brother Mauro Yuri have just said. No, and I think the main message here is devout simplicity. And he gave the example of our first Capuchins. No, he says the first Capuchins aimed to reduce as much as they could the use of goods in this world. Okay, so they just contented with themselves with what is essential. They were in the world with the attitude of pilgrims and strangers. No, it's nice. No, this reminds me of my earlier years as a missionary in the southern part of the Philippines. Bear with me for a while, no? Because when we were climbing mountains during that time and you crossing rivers, no, there was even one mission area where we had to cross the same river 18 times, no, before we could reach the top. And we would hike for the whole day. And sometimes if the weather is not good, or if something happened and we were not able to finish the hike, we would have to continue it the following day. But oftentimes it would take the whole day for us to get to our destination. And when you do that, you have to carry all those things that you have to bring to the mission work. No? Especially me, as I do medical services in the mountains, we would bring a lot of medicines. No? If we are lucky, there are horses where we can put the medicines, and then the horse will go a different route climbing up the mountain. But if we are not lucky, there is no horse available, then we have to carry our backpacks. And usually one backpack filled with medicine will be about 18 kilos. No? At the start of the journey, no problem, you can carry it. No? But it's not only the medicine that you place there. You put also the clothes and whatever you need, no, for the mission day. Usually the mission would take about 2 to 3 days. No? So you have to also bring some personal things also that you will be using, because the mountain is also cold. So you have also to you need extra clothes to keep you warm. So at the start of the journey, no problem, you feel very strong, no? But after an hour or two, you start to feel the weight of the load that you are carrying. And so what happens for those who start, usually because some brothers in initial formation would also join us. So sometimes when they start, they bring a lot of extra clothes or something like that, extra things, no? And they climb, and then afterwards they start to feel already the difficulty of the climb and everything like that. So the next time they go back again the mountain, they would start to decide first, what are the things that I really need? And those that they don't really need, they start to leave behind. That was the same also with me when I started. No, I carry a lot of things. Oh, I might need this, I might need that, I carry that. And then when I'm already halfway through the journey, I realize, oh, next time I will not bring this anymore with me. This is too heavy. So the next time I trim them down, and the more missions we do, we'll tend to trim them down until finally there's only one backpack, just enough necessities that we actually are the ones that we really needed when we go throughout the missions. Actually, everything that we needed was there in one backpack, and the rest that were left in the convent were actually gathering dusts. And then we realized that we really didn't need the other things that were gathering dusts. And so we slowly realized that these things that are gathering dust, so we need to let go. And then we end up with the essential things. You need to travel light, or else you will suffer throughout the hike. Okay, they say, there's also a saying, they say, travel light, freeze all night. So you try to get the moderation. No? You travel too light, you might freeze all night, or you might feel cold all through night. But if you travel too much also, you will suffer all throughout the hike. So it's better to get somewhere in the middle, no? Not too much and not too less and not too much, just the middle road. And I guess that's also the secret of sanctity, taking the middle road. Okay. I also remember, no, when I also visited a convent, Capuchin convent in Milan, Italy, no, there was this old friar who gave me a tour to one of the soup kitchens, no, that this soup kitchen is very unique, no, it's part of the whole convent, no, because it's part of the whole convent, all you have to do is to open a door, and then you are already in the soup kitchen. So it shows that as if the soup kitchen is another room, is a room of the poor, as part of the convent, and all you have to do is to just enter one door and you're already there in the soup kitchen. So it makes you feel that the poor are our brothers, and this is very touching, because when the brother, when we were about to finish our tour, the brother shared with me a thought that really touched me, and he said, the poor are our brothers, and all the Capuchin have also belongs to the poor. And then I realized, wow, this is a bit challenging, no? Now, this is a very, very hard, challenging statement, because it means that what we need, that there is a need for us to share whatever we have to the excluded of the society, and to share it with generosity and love. So what the Capuchin have also belongs to the poor. So there was also another statement that really touched me, no, when we had the meeting of all those directors of the soup kitchens throughout Europe, no, they said, the poor, we need the poor. The poor are our brothers. The poor feeds us. No? It's true, no, in a certain sense. So the poor feeds us. They feed us because people know that the Capuchins help the poor, and what they give and what is intended for the poor, the Capuchins will give them, and so the people generously give, and so we're like a faucet, no, that is always open, and so water continuously flow. It's the same when God knows that you have a very generous heart and your hands are open, then the grace of God continues to come, and then the worker no longer has to worry. God will provide and take care for the worker. So when you continue on, when the Capuchins continue on serving the poor, the Capuchins feeds us, but not only physically, but also spiritually. You know, sometimes we go to the peripheries to work with the poor, intending or thinking that we will be giving them a lot. You know? Oftentimes we return after the mission work, we realize they gave us more, especially in the area of spirituality, the area of relationships, in the area of loving and caring for other people. They teach us a lot of things. So they feed us. They feed our spirit, our heart, and our body. You know? And at the same time, it also reminds me, during that time, there was one novitiate within the Capuchin order, where the brothers practiced the Capuchin tradition of being a porter. And every week there will be a Capuchin novice who would take care of our guests. Our guests are the poor who would knock at the convent door and would ask for assistance. It's a very good practice, because what happens is the brother who is in charge of the porter would rush to the door, open the door, welcome the poor, make the poor sit comfortably in the sala, and then ask the poor to wait for a little, and then the brother goes to the kitchen, prepare some food, well prepared food with water, and or if there's a drink, with a special drink, and then the special food, it's specially cared for, specially prepared, as if there's a special guests, and they are truly special guests. They are our brothers and our sisters, so they prepare well. It's not just a haphazardly prepared meal. They really prepare it for a special guest, and then they give it to the poor. Once they give it to the poor, they leave the poor to enjoy the meal in silence, and then they go up to the pantry to get food that is already prepared, a packet of food that is already prepared, and other things that is added to it. And then they go back down, talk with the poor, entertain the poor, and finally, after the poor finishes the meal, they give this extra packet for them that they will be able to use for the next of the days, for days to come. And this is a beautiful practice that came along. And then the beautiful thing about it is when the brothers go around the city, go around the place, even if they have been gone for many years and they come back again to visit the novitiate, the poor, when they see them, they immediately say, "Look, the Capuchins are here," and then the poor would be very happy to see them. And it's a beautiful interaction, a beautiful living out of our universal brotherhood. Now, to live in devout simplicity is also the realization that we are all created by our Father, all created by one God, and everything, including nature, are His children. Knowing the excluded and the nature, when we know that the excluded and nature are our sisters and our brothers, we naturally will tend to reach out to them with tenderness and love, because they are our sisters and our brothers. We care for them because their pain is also our pain, and their suffering is also our suffering. So the message in the foreword is really very important, to live in devout simplicity, reminding ourselves that we are pilgrims and strangers, and that we are here. We are brothers to all. We are brothers to creation, and brothers to all those who are excluded in the society. We are also brothers of all those who belong to different faiths and also different ideologies or ways of thinking. So when you look at it, really, the foreword immediately tells us that somehow to live JPIC, which is prescribed or proposed in this handbook, is actually the living out of our Capuchin charism and our Capuchin tradition. Well, that's it for now. I hope you this short video has been inspiring or has helped you, and given you some insights that you could use as you go through your life as a Capuchin, or if you're not a Capuchin, as a JPIC animator or a person who wants to be in solidarity with the excluded and with the rest of creation, and also in dialogue with others. So until next time, I hope to see you again in our succeeding videos, which we will be slowly going through the pages of this handbook. Well, thank you very much. May God bless all of you, and may God bless all your paths, and may God bless all your endeavors. Until next time, this is the office of JPIC saying thank you and peace to all.